Oh, listener, Donald Curry. Yeah. When I was really getting into boxing, Donald Curry was thought of as the next king, if you will. And he almost made that group of the four kings. Remember, there was a magazine cover that said Hagler Hearns is done and I'm better than both of them. And had Donald Curry on the cover, right? And Hagler Hearns happened to be one of the greatest fights of all time, right? 3 rounds of blood and guts, quite literally, that Hagler finally stopped Hearns in, and if he didn't, it would have been stopped by a cut. It was an example of, what we love in all-time boxing. That Hagler-Hearns fight, may be the greatest fight of all time, quite frankly. I mean, if you like that kind of thing, and I think the majority of boxing fans like a war. But Donald Curry didn't reach that pinnacle that he was sought after. I had completely forgot he fought Terry Norris, to be honest with you. And you're right, Terry Norris was thought of as top of the heap then. I remember they also fed him to Michael Nunn. And Michael Nunn at that time, it was well thought that Sugar Ray Leonard avoided him, that he was going to be the greatest of all time. And by the way, may have actually come true, except he ran into James Toney. And that's the thing we love about boxing. Curry was a darling. Michael Nunn was, to a certain extent, a darling too. But there's guys that are black horses that come out of nowhere and they flip the whole world on its head. And that, again, goes back to the Rocky story, right? Like, you may have been the best amateur, you may have been this. And I met Chris Bird, the heavyweight champion of the world, who had actually had a career as a middleweight as an amateur. He talked to me about Michael Nunn. He said Michael Nunn was the greatest boxer of all time on the amateur circuit, right? And they thought that he was going to have a career like no other, but just didn't pan out that way. It's because James Toney was just this freakazoid of a fighter, right? James Toney, I mean, everybody says, Derek, you spar too hard, blah, blah, blah. James Toney sparred hard from middleweight to heavyweight his entire career. That's what he did, right? And he would run guys out of the gym with it, and he was just an absolute animal. His defensive shell was incredible. He was using that Philly roll before Floyd Mayweather popularized it. I mean, he could do things nobody could do, and he beat a slew of outstanding fighters during his career. The one he did not beat was Roy Jones, who had superhuman reflexes and whatnot. And as you go up and down, like, the boxing landscape of Donald Curry, Michael Nunn, Roy Jones, some people have that charisma behind them, or the skill level behind them for the amateur ranks. Some, like James Toney, are dark horses that come out and they upset the whole apple cart. To a certain extent, I think Bernard Hopkins is like that. Went to prison at 18 and came out at 25 and showed the world that he wouldn't leave. But also he lost to Roy Jones, which goes to show you how much natural talent means. But yeah, listener, I could talk old school boxing all day, man. That's when I really started coming around. Donald Curry had just beaten Milton McCrory. Yeah, good times. Everybody read my book. Wait a minute, I was not supposed to say that anymore. Like and subscribe to my channel if you want more fight news like this.